Hi guys. I'm Zoe and welcome to our 2025 Winter Intensive IB program syllabus review. So before we jump into today's sample context, I just want to start with a very quick overview of what you'll be doing if you enroll in this class and how this course is structured. Right, so let's get into it. So this program is basically designed to give you a strong preparation across all key parts of IB Lang and Lit syllabus. So that would mean paper one, paper two, individual oral IO, as well as TOK. So for this intensive, our goal is not just to get you ready for assessments, but also to help you really understand how language and literature works as a course. How writers shape meaning, how ideas are communicated, and how you can really respond to them with clarity and depth that will pull you to the higher end of the grade spectrum into the sixes and the sevens. So let's start with paper one. So paper one is about analyzing unseen prose or literature or non-literature extracts. So it can be a multiple samples of text types, advertisements, diary, speeches. The list is non-exhaustive. So you'll practice identifying any key lit features, the purpose and the audience, and how these contribute to convey the whole meaning of the text. So we'll be focusing on writing strong thesis statements, organization, depth of analysis, and as well as exam techniques like managing time under exam conditions. So now paper two, it is a more of a nuanced approach compared to paper one because it's a comparative essay. So we'll be reading major texts like A Doll's House and Inspector's Call, The Great Gatsby, Much Ado About Nothing, Persepolis, Animal Farm, and Carol Ann Duffy's poetry. So as it is said in the little side note, these are the literatures that are most likely or commonly to be selected in IB language and literature classes. And in our intensive program, we will be likely to select a few of these texts and then studying them in class together. So here we'll look at big ideas, big themes, character analysis, as well as setting and symbolism analysis, whatever is likely to come out in the past in the paper two exam and what had actually came out in the past papers. So I think this is the part that a lot of students really struggle with, largely because this is the part that you haven't done a lot. Pre-IB curriculum such as IGCSE lacks this sort of component, well, in relative depth that IB emphasizes. So we'll be spending quite a bit of time on paper two. The next part is IO, individual oral. So here you will be learning how to choose and frame any global issues, analyze authorial choices, and present a very clearly well-structured 10-minute oral. So we'll practice with outlines and drafts, as well as mock IO, so that by the time you do the real thing, you will feel much more confident and comfortable. Also for this, your recordings of your speech will be sent to you so you can objectively review how you went and how well you did alongside my comments. The last part is TOK. So this really helps you to think more deeply about concepts of knowledge, truth, perspective. Again, likewise of paper two, this is a new area that a lot of students have not done. Well, I would say 99% of students have not done this subject until you come into the IB curriculum. And I think therefore it's a area that a lot of students find difficult. They find it very difficult to adjust to, I guess. So in class, we'll be using past TOK questions to build mock essays. So you'll have multiple chances to write TOK essays, get detailed feedbacks, so that your actual TOK essays that you will do in school will have a much stronger starting point. So overall, this course is designed to really build your skills step by step. So through reading, writing, speaking, and thinking. It's intensive, but it's meant to help you feel confident and very prepared for every part of the IB English that you will face soon. All right, so now that you know how the course is structured, let's jump into the real example of how the kind of work that we'll be doing, starting with a paper one sample analysis. All right, so this is a 2013 paper, paper one. So we'll be focusing on the first text. In the real exam, you will have a choice between the texts that are presented in the paper, as you can see. So today for our sample analysis, we'll be looking at the first text. So I'm gonna give you a rough 10-second, just like skim through. In the actual class, you'll be having around 4 to 5 minutes to read the text. So this is what the text looks like. Again, paper one can be multiple types of text. So this one is a charity appeal, which is a bit distinct compared to other text types, just diaries, advertisements, text for children, satirical cartoons. Again, the list is non-exhaustive. So let's look at this text together. So again, it's a fundraising advertisement from Crisis, a UK-based charity. So let me just break down paper one before we get in. So for paper one, our job is to analyze a few aspects. Largely it is, we can break it down into 4 to 5 aspects. So firstly would be the purpose of the text. So why did the author, or if it's a cartoon, why did the illustrator create this specific text? What was he thinking when he wrote or composed the text that you're looking at? That's the purpose. Second one is the audience. Who was he thinking would read his text when he was composing it? So the target audience is the second criteria. Third, we look at the tone of the text. So what sort of tone it has. Is it friendly, positive, negative, intimate? Again, non-exhaustive list. And then we'll go into lit device analysis, which should be the prime focus of your analysis. So this should take more than 50% of your whole essay, because as you will look at the mark scheme, it places a strong emphasis on the analysis of the lit devices and how it connects back to the purpose of the text, which we'll be doing together in a moment. Okay, then lastly is the context of the text. So which context this text is set in. So again, the criteria I've mentioned is not rigid. It does fluctuate depending on your teacher's style. So what we'll do in class is that I will teach you multiple ways to structure a paper one essay. Typically, the majority of teachers, they divide into two groups, two approaches, let's say, to write paper one essays, and we'll be covering both of them in class, so you are able to adopt to whichever one your teacher follows when the term begins. Okay, so let's go into the sample planning process. So as you can see, this is a sample analysis that we have done for the previous text that you have just seen, the charity appeal, during our summer intensive. So in class, we'll plan a detailed paper one essay planning together. And then for homework, you will write an actual essay under time limit based on the planning that we have done. And when you come back, I will be there to give you comments in terms of what you have done right and what is lacking using the IB rubrics. So it is super important that you do a lot of writing, but perhaps what's more important than doing a lot of writing is getting the right feedback. So as a lot of you will be familiar with, I'm guessing math. For math, you have the marking scheme that you can mark yourself, which means that you know which part you have gotten right, which part you have gotten wrong, and you can focus on the parts that that you've got wrong, on the problems that you have. For English, it's a bit difficult to have that sort of same approach, despite it is necessary, because often students will they will lack knowledge in terms of what they know and what they're good at. Because for English, it's difficult to get feedbacks and objective marking as you would do it for math. So yeah, coming back to the main point, it's super important that you get detailed feedbacks to know what you're doing wrong. And it's super important to, again, handle those feedbacks and rewrite your essay so that your essay is elevated in a level. So so I'll be giving you a lot of feedbacks, especially with the depth of analysis that IB emphasizes so frequently. So back to our main planning document. So I just want to give you an overview of how things would be done. So we'll first start dividing the dividing the planning into distinct sections. So of course, we have an introduction to start off. We have the purpose. We have the target audience group. We have the lit devices. In this case, because the text involves both imagery and text, literal text, we'll be dividing the lit devices into two sections, visual and text. So when you look at a paper one, what you always should be thinking is how is the author or the creator of the text using lit devices to convey the purpose more effectively? Because at the end of the day, any uses of lit devices, they are there to support the purpose of the text. The author is using it to better convey, more effectively persuade, perhaps in this case, because of charity appeal, the audience. Okay, so the structure of paper one will be discussed in depth at the very start of the intensive. And once we have a strong foundation, we'll go straight into analyzing various types of texts. So for purpose, what's really important that a lot of students miss out on is the language that IB prefers. So IB has specific terminologies that it encourages students to read, and this is reflected in the mark scheme. So you want to put the prime subject of the analysis or of the sentence to be the author. So you want to say the author persuades, the author convinces, the author promotes. So always put the author as the subject of your analysis. So it is clear that you're not analyzing this at your will, you're analyzing in the shoes of the author, which again is heavily emphasized in the IB rubrics. So using these IB terminologies, we will form topic sentences together. So this is what topic sentence that I formed, and two other students each respectively formed a single topic sentence. Topic sentence is very important, and this is a place where a lot of students tend to get a bit sidetracked. Topic sentence is the basic summary of your paragraph, and when I read your topic sentence, I should be able to tell what you'll be discussing in that specific paragraph. So it is very important that you use keywords, terminologies that IB likes in your topic sentences. So such as the text is primarily aiming, so this is the purpose of this of this text that this student wrote. And then she proceeds to give why this topic sentence is supportive of the text. Now, for the time's sake, let's skip to the lit devices, or stylistic devices, as some teachers call. So let's firstly start off with the visuals. So for the visual, what we'll do is that I encourage you to break down the imagery into different sections. For example, as you have seen in the text that I've shown you a few minutes ago, the charity appeal text, it has a header section. It had some snowflakes illustrations. It had this little subheading starting with cold weather alert. So what we should be doing in paper one is that we should be breaking down each visual element and then linking it back to the purpose. Why did the author use this specific section? How does it affect the audience? So I want to say the key part here is to emphasize the effect on audience, because everything that you see in the text, they are there for a reason. The author put it there to support the purpose in some way. And our job is to figure out how it is used to support it and how effective the support is. So for example, if we talk about the gift tag, we could argue that a gift tag is usually attached to a gift, and this effectively reinforces the charitable purpose of the campaign. So here we're linking back to the purpose of the text. And what's the effect of that? It makes the audience feel that donation is form of a gift. And again, what is the effect of that? Why would the author make or want to make the audience feel as if the donation is a form of gift, so that they're more likely to donate by appealing to morality? So you see, these sort of step-by-step analysis is what IB literature is looking for. A lot of students stop at the superficial level because this is what this had been sufficient in a pre-IB level, such as IGCSE. That's why a lot of students find their grades stuck at the 5s or low 6s. In order to get into the higher boundaries, it's highly necessary that you go into further or deeper analysis. So do not stop at the superficial analysis by saying, oh, okay, a gift tag is usually attached to a gift. That is a mere description. What IB want you to do is that it wants you to go on the deeper side of this evidence. The effect, yes, as we talked about, it reinforces the charitable purpose. Again, you can take one step further. You can say what it is the ultimate effect of this. It appeals to morality. And if I am to add one more arrow right after this, I would say, therefore, it encourages donation. So these step-by-step analysis is done throughout the planning for each and every lit devices that you will see. So overall, that is the general approach of a paper 1 unseen text. So we'll go through every single one of the different approaches that your teacher may take. Again, because largely because that English is such a subjective language when it comes to grading, and with learning different approaches, you'll be most likely prepared to whatever approach your teacher decides to use when you start the term. Okay, so that is our sample demo lesson for IB Language and Literature. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in class.